Hello everybody, what's up? It's Kenan here, and today I'm going to be doing a bit of a unique video on my channel and possibly a bit of a unique video on YouTube. I'm not really sure if anybody's done this type of video, but I thought I would. So today on this episode of Vector's Visionless Reviews, I'm going to be reviewing the Samsung 55-inch S95F QD-OLED TV. So I think I should start with just taking delivery of the TV itself. Samsung packages their stuff extremely well. There's padding for your padding, if that makes sense. No damage whatsoever. My first impressions when I took the TV out of the box were, number one, holy hell, it's so thin. The reason it's so thin is because the type of display technology that this TV uses is OLED, aka organic LED. Long story short, there's no backlight, so there's no need for the TV display to have a portion for the backlight. The pixels are self-emitting. That's why it's able to be so thin. Another reason why it's able to be so thin is because there's no real inputs on the TV. That's all done through the One Connect box. I'll get to that later. Definitely, even if you're sighted, have two people to move this thing. It is a big TV. It is super fragile, and you don't want to put $2,500 down the drain. So getting it all set up and getting it all prepared and stuff like that. Setup process, super easy, even for me, because I have a little bit of vision. It was easy for me. It guides you through the setup and everything. It talks to you. Strangely, and my visually impaired viewers are going to pick up on this if you ever get one of these TVs or anything in general, it sounded like there was coil whine coming from the top right corner of the TV, and it was only doing that during setup. I've only ever heard that during setup. Other than that, it's totally silent. I mean, of course, there's like the speakers and stuff, but noise-wise of the TV components, it's been totally silent. I take that back, actually. You will hear relays clicking in the One Connect box and in the TV when it does its pixel refresh, but we'll get to that later. So getting it set up and everything was very easy, and I should probably get to one of the most important features of the TV, which is the remote. Very small, very streamlined. This is not your full-size typical TV remote that you're used to, that you have, your mom has, your grandparents have. This is Samsung's solar cell remote, meaning that you can supposedly lay it on its back and it'll charge with the light indoors or some shit like that, but I just plug it in via USB-C. There is a USB-C port on the bottom. For my blind viewers, the remote is very rectangular. It has sloping angles and lines. There are 18 buttons, 2 rocker switches which are pressable, and a D-pad with a select button. Remote also has a microphone. Very easy to use, very simple. Like the remote is, not the OS. We'll get to the OS in a minute. Remote's very easy to use, very straightforward. And once you pick it up, it's not that hard to learn. If you're used to the big TV remotes with like 30, 40 buttons, it might be an upgrade, it might be a downgrade, I'm not really sure. But either way, super easy to use. Speaking of the OS, this TV runs on what's called Tizen OS. Now, Tizen OS, if you're not familiar with smart TVs, there's big platforms that these TVs run on. It's not just like you can turn on the TV and it runs anymore. Unfortunately, that's not the modern era of TVs we live in, because I had, and I still have, a Insignia 32-inch TV mounted on my wall. Back in the day, TVs just had built-in menus. Nowadays, they run on different OSs. Let's see, some big TV OS. Roku is a big one. That's what I have at my aunt's house. Android TV, Google TV, Apple TV. But this runs on Samsung's OS, Tizen. Tizen is a Linux-based OS. And immediately, what I look for as a blind consumer, and what I know some of you guys look for, is accessibility. Tizen is very accessible. It has voice guide, it has magnification, the menus. There is a learning curve. There is a bit of a learning curve, I will be honest. But once you get past the initial learning curve and you start to figure the TV out and its ins and outs and its quirks and features, as Doug DeNiro would say, it's pretty straightforward. It's It's not the it's fast, but it's not the fastest OS in the world. But it's very solid and it's stable. And I wasn't looking for a speedy, snappy OS like that. But it's a very stable OS and it is accessible, so do not worry about that. Voice Guide is the screen reader that it comes with. It is solid. It's a very good screen reader. It does exactly what I would want it to do. It reads everything I could possibly want. The biggest part for, I know a lot of my blind viewers, and me included, there is a way to adjust the voice speed, so you don't have to listen to it drag on for 50 trillion years. Along with the accessibility functions, just in general, Tizen is actually a really well polished OS now. I don't think it used to be this good, but it is very polished in its current form on my TV. So yeah, OS is pretty good. It has all the streaming apps you would want: HBO Max, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Netflix, YouTube. You can browse the internet if you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, OS is very solid and accessible. So that's another plus to the TV. Now, getting onto the TV itself. Like I said, if you want, may not have said this, but if you want to see pictures of this TV, go ahead and look them up or look up any other review on YouTube. Speaking from experience, this TV is fucking beautiful. I have never seen colors fly off a TV screen like they do on this. I've never seen highlights as good as these. I've never seen contrast as good as this. The brightness. I've never turned this TV up and used it on 50 brightness. It gets so bright it literally bathes the room in light, in like sunlight. I keep mine on half brightness. Number one, because it's how I like it. Number two, I don't want to burn out the OLED panel. But the picture is so gorgeous. You do have to do a bit of adjusting. This is not it's okay out of the box, but if you want the really good picture settings like I have, you have to adjust it. I'm sure there's guides and stuff, but for my eyes and the way I like to view it, I did have to do some adjusting. But other than that, this TV is so gorgeous. Don't take my word for it. If you want to, after you're done or during, even now, go look up a video of what this TV looks like, or pictures. It won't do it justice. I promise you. It will not do it justice. And the reason this TV, getting into why it's so beautiful, it's, like I said, this is an OLED, organic LED, and it's a QD-OLED, meaning quantum dots. So, long story short, it makes it look better, like I said. And then Samsung I do believe is the only company actually making QD OLEDs. I could be wrong, but I do believe they're the only ones making QD OLED TVs. Because the truth is, you can see OLED, and OLED can mean, as of now, I think there's only like 3 different types of OLEDs. There's only like 3. There is WOLED, which is what LG uses and what most OLED panels are. There's QD-OLED, which is quantum dot, and then the new technology, which is LG's new 4-stack OLED. That's on their new G5. That's the competitor to this. My humble opinion, QD-OLED looks the best. This TV looked so good. I've seen it in person, and now I have it here. It's a 55... Oh, yeah. Be careful, because the 55, 65, and 77-inch versions of the S95F are the only versions to have the QD-OLED panel. The 83-inch version does not use a QD-OLED panel. It uses LG's 4-stack OLED panel. The S95F in the TV world is a bit controversial because it has an anti-reflective coating. I have only ever wiped down the TV a few times, and you cannot at all use like an old wash rag or anything like that. You have got to use a microfiber cleaning cloth, and even then, you have to use one that's suitable for electronics. The anti-reflective coating is extremely easy to scratch, and luckily for me, I don't see any online. I've gotten as many of the smudges and stuff off as I can. It's not hard to wipe down once you know how. For my blind viewers, if you have a microfiber cleaning cloth, keep the center of the cloth in contact with the screen at all times. Do not ever use the edges, and wipe in a circular motion, applying very little pressure. If the smudges still don't come off, dampen the cloth very slightly and then use another dry cloth to clean it off. That's pretty straightforward. But the reason that the anti-reflective coating is getting so much controversy is because some people claim in a bright room, and I know this is true, it will degrade the black levels. OLED TVs inherently produce incredible black levels because the pixels can turn themselves off. In my setting, in my room, which number one, I hardly ever open a window because eyes, and then number two, I 90-80% of the time always have the light off. Never have ever had to worry about that. The black levels are beautiful. It's like the TV's not even on. So for me, it's not a problem. And actually, it's a plus because my room light is currently on right now and it's barely even reflecting off the screen. There's no like halo effect when you look at a normal TV. So the screen, in my opinion, I think it's the best TV on the market right now, currently, if you're wanting to go for OLED. Because if you get into like QLED or stuff, other display technologies, that's a whole other topic. A few considerations before you buy this TV, because I'll get back into my experiences in a minute. This is the nature of OLED panels, and I want you to hear me out on this. If you're not familiar, OLED panels, because of the way they're designed, are susceptible to a phenomenon known as burn-in. Burn-in is where if you display the same content on an OLED panel for and I'm talking like hundreds and thousands of hours, that image will basically be ghosted onto the TV, forever, because it's burned in. Hence the name. The S95F has lots of safety systems to prevent that. It has a safety system known as pixel shift, which will constantly, almost insurmountably to the viewer, move the pixels. It has a safety system called logo brightness adjustment, which if you watch a lot of sports, I do. If you play a lot of games, I do, that have HUDs, you're going to want this on. It will lower the brightness. It'll detect logos or news tickers, and it will lower the brightness. The big one it has is what's called pixel refresh or screen optimization. I'm not getting too technical. It goes in, checks all the pixels, and decides which one needs to be the brightness or things need to be changed on them to prolong the life of the panel itself. If you have an OLED TV, and my recommendations, try not to display the same thing constantly. Definitely try to change up at least sometimes what you're watching, because if you watch a lot of sports, burn-in is a real risk. It is nowhere near as prevalent as it was when OLED TVs first came out, like mid-2013 when LG unveiled their OLED. A lot of advancements and stuff like that. And QD-OLEDs are even better at not having burn-in issues. But another thing you're going to have to think about is an OLED TV eventually will wear out. It's the nature of OLED, just like burn-in. The technology, because it's organic and it uses natural materials, the panel will degrade. This is nothing you have to worry about if you just bought the TV. This is years, maybe even like a decade down the line. But overall, the display is fucking gorgeous. I love it. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The sound system, the S95F, comes with a 4.2.2 channel 70-watt sound system. It's good for a TV. It's really good for a standalone TV. If you want a better sound experience, definitely get a soundbar. But the sound system, for what it is, it's pretty good. It's solid. I'm trying to think, what else can I cover? The One Connect box. This TV has no inputs, hence why it's so thin. Everything you do through the TV is routed through what's called the One Connect box. Think of a cable box. It's just the cable box that sits below the TV, but there's no cable, there's just your TV inputs and stuff. The power cord plugs into the One Connect box. There's a cord going from the One Connect box to the TV. The TV's processor is inside the One Connect box. It's the brains of your TV. So this thing breaks, you're fucked. This is a double-edged sword to me, because On the good side, there is absolutely no risk of getting like cords caught behind your TV and stuff like that. Very, very easy to manage cord management and keep things, not bent out, totally out of shape. Very convenient. The downsides of this are you're going to have to find a spot for it. If you wall mount this TV, you're going to have to find a spot for the One Connect box. If you have a small enclosure, you're going to have to find a spot for the One Connect box. Luckily, I have one, and it just fits flush and seamless under my entertainment center. I just tapped it. It clicked. I don't know why it clicked. Yeah. Blind viewers, this, as I just said, this actually does make some clicking noise and some relays you'll hear in the One Connect box itself and in the TV, mostly when you turn it on and turn it off, and during the pixel refresh cycles. But another downside of the One Connect box is this thing will put off some serious heat. It gets warm, I won't lie. And I'm a big gamer. I have an Xbox Series X. Doing 4K 120 hertz, that One Connect box will get pretty warm. If you are an Xbox user, I don't know about PlayStation, I can't vouch for that. I've had times where I've had audio dropouts. That's because of the One Connect box. If you get a TV like the LG G5, you don't have to worry about that at all, because it uses the full 48 gigabit HDMI 2.1 protocol. If you get the One Connect, if you get this, it doesn't use the full 48 gigabits of HDMI 2.1. It uses 40 gigabits with Samsung's basically video compression. You still get 4K 120 hertz, but it's not utilizing the full bandwidth of the HDMI. So the One Connect box can pass the signal to the TV. If you're worried about like lag and stuff for gaming, don't. It's really good with that. They've taken a lot of initiatives to minimize input lag and stuff like that. There's hardly any input lag. You're good. The S95F is a 4K 165 hertz panel. It's not an 8K panel. They don't make an 8K OLED. Samsung doesn't. Actually, Samsung's the only TV manufacturer that even makes 8K TVs at all anymore. It's not my cup of tea. I didn't want that. But inherently, with the One Connect box, there's downsides and there's upsides. There were more upsides than downsides for me. And that was a big contributing factor on why I originally got this TV. Truth be told, this was not the original TV I was looking at getting. I actually wanted the TCL QM8K. That's a QD mini LED. That's just a fancy word for an LCD TV with the backlight with multiple dimming zones. It has a different lighting system to get black levels and brightness similar to OLED. However, the QM8K has horrible picture processing. It has a terribly weak processor. And SDR content. I do watch SDR content. I watch over-the-air stuff and even some older stuff. It tries to upscale it and it looks horrible. It also didn't come in a 55-inch version. I'm really glad I got this instead of a 65-inch because it would have never fit in this room. Never. But that's about it for the One Connect box. I mean, if it's your cup of tea, then, I mean, if that doesn't affect you, then by all means go for it. It comes with 2 cables to connect it to the TV. You have a longer cable and then a shorter cable if you want to wall mount. So, I mean, like I said, do with that as you will. But other than that, I mean, if I had to give the TV, because the only big problems I've had are the audio dropouts. Other than that, and except for watching the content that I put on there, setting the sleep timer and the auto power off, making sure you don't burn out the panel. This is a beautiful TV. I would recommend this to anybody. The picture is just so perfect. It has a really decent TV sound system. I'm gonna get a soundbar eventually, but for what it is, this TV is amazing. I love every second of watching content on this. My vision's weird. I have nystagmus and optic nerve atrophy, so I have to be really close to a TV. I'm able to lay and sit very comfortably on my bed, which is about 3 to 4 foot away from the TV screen itself. And for me, that's pretty far, actually, because a lot of times I'll have to sit up right up on the TV for either just when I'm really engrossed in something or gaming or something like that. This is the only TV I've ever been able to comfortably even lay down and actually watch it and just focus and actually see what's going on. This was a big reason why I bought this TV. I seen it in Best Buy and stuff like that, and I said because in Best Buy you have to be careful because they will show you the most flashy fucking in-store demo promos, be like, this is the best TV in the world, it will do this and that, and it'll make your breakfast, and, well, not actually, but you get the drift. You want to put real content on there that you're actually going to watch. I had him put a movie on there. I wanted, like, football and stuff like that, but it can't do it because Best Buy. But I knew this TV was going to look good anyway. I never knew it was going to look this good, but it looks amazing for what it is. This is not a cheap TV. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We paid a lot for this. This was $2,300 to $2,400 for the 55-inch version. That's the 55-inch version. You go to 65, 77, you're going to get way more expensive. But it's worth every penny. Worth every penny. No amount of money can buy the picture quality that this thing has. And for my blind viewers or viewers with visual impairments, go look. If you are thinking about getting a TV, go look at the S95F. I promise you won't regret it. If you have the ability, and if you don't, if you want to have any other questions, let me know in the comments. If you don't have that ability, and even if you're sighted, just go look at the S95F. It's a beautiful TV. But if you have any questions or comments, definitely let me know. I would love to share more about this TV. If you want any tutorials, let me know. Because this, being a Samsung TV running Tizen, it's very well tied into the Samsung ecosystem. So if you have a Galaxy phone, me have a Galaxy S22 Ultra, really heavily tied in. It's so heavily tied in that incoming calls on my phone come up on my TV. That shit's wild. But if you have any questions, definitely let me know. I'm not really gonna rate the TV, but in my humble opinion, as a blind nerd who is really engrossed into tech and stuff like that, I love this TV. It's everything I'd want in a TV and so much more. So, would I buy it again? Fuck yeah, of course I'd buy it again. I love this thing. But other than that, I mean, that's basically everything I've covered. The display, the sound, the OS, the One Connect box. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the S95F in a nutshell. You guys have any questions? Like I said, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Any concerns, any tutorials you want, I will be happy to provide them. If you wanted a demonstration of Voice Guide and how easy that is to use, let me know. I'll definitely do that. I might do that anyway. But other than that, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and have a wonderful day.